Krem 2 News at 6 continues now.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for sticking with us. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
And I'm Whitney Ward. Again, Jane is off tonight. A North Spokane woman says she feels violated after she caught a man watching her in the shower. It happened just last night at a home in the Garland district.
She says her boyfriend chased the man away and ended up running into another potential victim. Krem 2's Alexa Block tells us how the victim is now trying to warn others.
You know, this window here is pretty tall, but that didn't keep one man from climbing on top of this table and spying on a woman in the shower. After a long night in the gym, Alexandra Collins couldn't wait to hop in the shower around 10:30 last night. A few minutes into her shower, she says something wasn't right.
And I had heard some footsteps outside, but I thought it was maybe my roommates going out to their car to get something.
But it wasn't one of her roommates she heard outside her open bathroom window.
When I turned the water off is when I had kind of heard something else outside the window, and that's kind of the movement prompted me to look.
When she turned around, she says two blue eyes were staring into hers.
And there was a face in the window.
She says a man's face was pressed against the screen, watching her.
He just didn't seem to care. I made eye contact with him the first time, and then I came back and faced him again, and that's when he got down.
Collins was in shock. She called for her boyfriend, and he chased him off.
That is definitely an invasion of your privacy, and someone just saw you completely naked, and you have no idea who it was, and then they took off, so.
Collins thinks he moved the table to the window, then stood and squatted on it. You can see the footsteps in the snow where he ran, and her boyfriend followed.
That is a concern because you don't know if they're going to come back. You don't know what their mental capacity is.
Collins says as her boyfriend looked for the peeper, he ended up running into another man who was also looking for a man who spied on his girlfriend in the shower. Collins filed a police report, but Spokane police haven't gotten any other reports of voyeurism in the neighborhood. This type of crime could mean a trespassing charge. It's a misdemeanor.
It was just a lot of effort to get to that point, to spy on someone, and it's definitely an invasion of your privacy.
Collins says she is trying to build her sense of security again, and she hopes her story will remind people to be vigilant.
I think that the public should probably just be aware that there is someone out there who is maybe keeping tabs on you or watching you, without clothes on.
In Spokane, Alexa Block, Krem 2 News.
And at that point, police say if something like that does happen to you, report it to them.
Absolutely. You might think, oh, we didn't catch him, so what can they possibly do? But it's really important because it helps them track these types of situations throughout the neighborhoods. And if they maybe don't catch them this one time, they'll be able to, connect them to something maybe on down the road and charge them with several crimes.
Perhaps see a larger trend as well.
Always a good thing, yeah.
All right, the man accused of beating his girlfriend to death on Thanksgiving appeared in court again today. Nicholas Holden pleaded not guilty to the charge of second-degree murder for the death of Tina Stewart. The judge also reduced his bond from $1 million to $500,000. He remains behind bars in the Spokane County Jail tonight. His trial is now set for March 5th.
All right, take a minute, stop what you're doing and take a look at your screen. This man wanted for a murder in Colorado and maybe in the Spokane area. His name is Devin Tomaso. He's accused of killing someone last Thursday in Denver. Police say he's armed and dangerous. If you see him, do not approach. Just call 911. There is a $2,000 reward for any tip that leads to his arrest.
Spokane police have one man in custody after a standoff that happened near Empire and Lidgerwood in North Spokane late this afternoon. Police say the man was wanted but did not say for what and refused to come out. They even had to use tear gas and sent in a robot to get the man to come out. Eventually he did come out. He was taken into custody. We'll have more details on this standoff on our website. That's krem.com.
Well, the storm that is just pounding Southern California right now has officially turned deadly. Now at least 13 people are dead after just heavy rain triggered mudslides in the same areas that were devastated by the recent wildfires. It is kind of an unfolding emergency still taking place right now, and the looming threat of more mudslides and flash floods is there still.
Yeah, now the same people who evacuated from last month's Thomas fire are again evacuating.
The mudslide surrounded my car as I was driving 60 miles an hour, and it pushed my car all the way to the left-hand side of the road.
The National Weather Service says more heavy rain is on the way with the potential for flash flood and mud flow.
Wow. Now here at home, we've got some new information on that massive crack that has opened up on Rattlesnake Ridge in Yakima. The State Department of Natural Resources says the area is moving 2.5 inches a day. State geologists are now pushing back the time frame when the slide is expected, maybe now late January or into February. The crack on that ridge has forced many homeowners down below to evacuate.
Well, on the weather front here, we had some wet weather today, and it looks like we're expecting this for the next several days.
Yes, so Tom Sherry's in the Weather Center with more on what we will see and when. Hi, Tom.
Yeah, we're tracking a lot of wet weather headed our way later this week. So much so, the National Weather Service has now issued a winter storm watch in every area you see shaded in blue right here. It's not Spokane, but it's darn close to us. It is the Rathdrum Prairie and looks like a little bit to the east and to the north of the Coeur d'Alene area. Again, this is Wednesday night through Thursday night. 5 to 8 inches of snow in the valleys. Could get more than a foot of snow in the mountains. I think here in the Spokane area, late Wednesday night, early Thursday morning, we'll see wet snow. But then it's going to turn to just plain old rain as we look for much warmer weather on Thursday. You see we've got some rain down in the Washington and Idaho Palouse, the higher elevations right now, seeing some of that snow. There you can see it right there across areas of really along the Idaho and Montana border. We'll look for an overnight low of 30 degrees, so the roads are going to ice up tonight. Chance of some wet snow tomorrow morning, especially in the Spokane Valley, but mostly it'll be in northern Idaho. Then we'll look for a high of about 36. For the weekend now, it looks mostly dry, mid-30s under partly cloudy skies. I'll have a look at your 10-day forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Tom, thanks very much. We know firefighters have one of the toughest jobs out there, and often one of their biggest challenges is Mother Nature. So when winter weather strikes, they face tough road conditions just to get to the scene, freezing water once they get there, and of course the danger of standing out in those elements.
Krem 2's Kira Alfallen has more on the struggles firefighters face out in the cold.
So cold that water only exists in the form of ice. This footage taken from the scene of a New Jersey fire on Friday, spreading to multiple buildings as crews work against ice and strong winds. But how do you fight a fire with ice? Spokane County Fire District 4 Chief Randy Johnson saying it is not without difficulty.
Our cold weather operations start with keeping our pumps on our apparatus drained in the station. So they're not carrying water as we're driving to the incident within the pump itself.
But that is before they leave the station. Hitting the roads in winter conditions is another thing. A
lot of times the driveways, the private roads have not been maintained. That adds another complexity. Can we even get to where the residence or where the structure is that we're trying to respond to?
We've all seen the photos. Firefighters literally frozen.
The extreme cold takes a toll on the human body. So the duration that we can spend out in that environment is shortened. We do respond with our rehab unit that affords the opportunity to bring folks in out of the cold, get them warmed up, get them dried out as best we can. So it takes more firefighters on an incident than when we're in extreme cold because we have to rotate more often.
What about just the ice on the ground? Does that cause a problem for slips and falls?
Absolutely. The whole environment, again, as we talked about responding to the incident, the apparatus having difficulty, firefighters have the same difficulty once they get to the scene working around the structure. Even if it wasn't icy before we got there, by the time we get done applying water to the scene, things continue to ice up, just as you referenced with the gear that you see. The ground gets that layer of ice on it.
Firefighters saying the biggest thing you can do to help is to keep your fire hydrants, driveways, sidewalks, steps, and porches clear of snow. So if there is an emergency,
refer to pager for address.
Dispatch engine 44 responding.
They can get to you.
The more traction we have, the less ice we have to deal with, the more efficient we can be.
It's a difficult job, right?
Boy, it sure makes you realize what they're up against. I mean, it's a hard job on a good day.
Sure.
You start adding in sub-zero temperatures. I mean, it's an uphill climb.
And then in the summertime when it's really hot, they're dealing with that as well.
That's a good point, for sure.
All right, that was Kira Alfallen reporting, by the way.
Now, at the start of this year, Congress did approve a temporary tax break for beer brewers. That's what we want to talk about now. Supporters, though, didn't mention what it could actually cost the U.S. So here's why. One of the largest companies, Anheuser-Busch, stands to get $12 million from this tax cut. Supporters say it will lead to thousands of new jobs, which, of course, is a good thing.
But here's how it doesn't help. The tax deduction will decrease the government's revenue by more than $4 billion, slicing into funds for programs that help with those alcohol addiction. It also cuts into money for emergency responders responding to alcohol-related traffic accidents and emergency room trips. The tax break got bipartisan support. Lobbyists for the beer industry are pushing for Congress to make the tax change permanent.
Now, the inland Northwest, we know, home to tons of great breweries, and critics of this tax break argue only a few of those benefits are actually going to kind of trickle down to these smaller brewers, which makes it harder for them.
Right. We'll continue to track this one, let you know how it all plays out.
Exactly.
All right, still to come tonight, a local dad says he is forever grateful to his kids' teachers.
When I opened it up and saw what it was, I had tears rolling out of my eyes.
How a group of Deer Park teachers went above and beyond to help an area family. Next.